Hi, I'm Chart Gal Lori, and I'm part of the Chart Guys community. I've been a trader and technical analyst for 8 years. I'm going to go over the markets, what happened today. We're going to look at technology, oil, some crypto, and then look at some marijuana stocks that had a really wonderful day. So let's get into it. Let me minimize my face. And while I'm live, we will likely have Amazon, Meta, and Apple earnings coming out during that time. If so, we'll take a look at it. All right, so let's just take it simple. We have 2 minutes left before the market closes, and we have a daily inside bar on NASDAQ, daily inside bar on ES. What does that mean? Inside bars on lower time frames typically result in misdirection. Look, higher highs, lower lows, higher highs, lower lows. You get those misdirection because you're probing for liquidity, because volume comes down when you're in an inside range. And so you get these probes of liquidity to the upside and downside, and you get that misdirection. So sometimes inside days can be kind of confusing to trade. So as of right now, we're closing with the inside day. SPY has a double top. They're going for it right now, 489.08. Let's get back to ES. ES, the 0.382 retrace from the low of January 17th to the high. I know it's over one day, to the high of Tuesday, January 30th, we have retraced approximately 38% of the move. Dan said it simply today, and I completely concur. Bears prove nothing until they break the low of yesterday. The low of yesterday now becomes the litmus test, the line in the sand. Bears, do you mean business or not? If you don't break it, you don't mean business. So we have held the 0.382 retrace, which means this retracement at this point is healthy. All right, let's look at SPY early in the day. I like to go back and look at what happened, not to play Monday morning quarterback, but just get used to different patterns. When you get that misdirection and reversal, go look for that inside bar on the higher time frame. So we opened up with 5-minute rising wedge on SPY to a new low of day, but bears were unable to break the low of yesterday. So that behooved the bulls, and they were able to recover. And what really helped was QQQ had a 5-minute rising wedge and made a double bottom with the low of day, and also did not break the low of yesterday. So when QQQ holds up a little bit more than SPY, it's like pulling up SPY by its bootstraps saying, come on, you're going with me. So that's what happened today with SPY and QQQ. And QQQ really had SMH on its side. SMH made 15-minute higher lows. We held the low of yesterday. And most importantly, who was showing off was SMCI. They closed up 10%, $53 to a new all-time high. This is one of the largest holdings in IWM, which kind of doesn't make sense because it's such a large priced name, but I guess it's still considered a small cap. What is this market cap? 32 billion. Yeah, I don't know what the criteria is and why it's in IWM. Will it be moved out? I don't know. But it has the freedom to do what it wants to do because it's not heavily weighted. Let me confirm that. It's not heavily weighted in an ETF. Let's go check that. You can go to etfdb.com, stock exposure tool, type in your acronym, SMCI, and you can see it's not heavy weighted in any of the large ones. Yet hardly any of the large, no, it's all small ones. So when you have a name that's not heavily weighted in a large ETF, it can break away and do its own thing. I like to call those honey badgers or money badgers. They can do what they want to do, and that's what SMCI did. And basically SMCI impacted the whole SMH sector, and NVIDIA was able to break the high of yesterday. QQQ was not able to, but SMH was. Why do you think that? SMH was unable to break the high of yesterday, but NVDA was. Why do you think that is? Because NVDA has not had earnings yet. So there's some optimism there, especially after SMCI earnings. All right. Yep, at the end of the day, SPY was unable to get through the FOMC high. We double topped at that 489.08. We looked at that, and looks like we broke the high right into the end of day, but right now I wouldn't call that a convincing break. I would still consider it an inside bar for today. IWM opened up somewhat strong inside yesterday's range and gave it all back, one of the few ETFs to break the low of the prior day. It recovered very nicely and closed up near the high of day, but this IWM weakness really weighed on the market early on. Dow was able to break the low of yesterday as well, and we closed up near the high. Nice recovery, i.e. bears have not proven a thing. Not a thing. VIX, 4-hour triple top, 1463 and 1461. So with VIX, we're still stuck inside this range. That is good for market bulls. And let's stop and look at the dollar when we look at VIX. So the dollar got a daily double top. 103.824, 103.811, and then we rejected pretty heavily. We're holding the 4-hour support, but this dollar weakness was also a tailwind for the market. Looking at Bitcoin, Bitcoin had a nice recovery today on the hourly trend. We're in an uptrend, but on the 4-hour, we're looking for a lower high. So Bitcoin still has a lot of work to do. Mara was pretty much an outperformer today compared to Bitcoin, but we were unable to break the high of the prior day. Looking at XLF, XLF opened up nicely, just right on top of yesterday's range, and then we broke through pretty heavily, and then a nice recovery back over yesterday's high. But that was a bigger break for XLF because XLF has been carrying us. Over here, when we saw weaknesses in other sectors, XLF kind of held up. So XLF kind of broke today with a little bit weaker. And then we have XLV. Gave up a little at the open and then had an inverse head and shoulders here on the 5-minute and reverse, and a beautiful bull move the rest of the day, which also helped the market. Gold had a great day. We were unable to get through that 208.650. However, still, again, it took advantage of dollar weakness. We have a 15-minute EQ at the moment. GDX was able to get through that resistance, that January 23rd high, but without a ton of follow through. 10 cents does not a bull break make. We need more follow through, and I believe this GDX bull break more had gold broken that 208.6. Oil had some news today that Qatar had reached some type of ceasefire with Israel, and then that was backtracked. Yet the dump did not recover and it erased. So we had the dump. The news came out that that wasn't true. And then we still went back down and made a new lower low. So oil's in trouble. We're looking for a daily higher low with this daily 50 MA right here. And I would say if this daily 50 MA can't hold, then oil's in trouble. And on the next bounce, we're looking for a daily lower high. XLE, of course, suffered the same consequences as oil as far as a rollover, but it did not make a lower low on the day, and we closed with a 15-minute EQ. All right, we have Amazon earnings that are out. Amazon is up 3.5%. Meta is up 6%. Apple's not out yet. I think it comes out in 5 minutes. So overall, the market's benefiting from earnings. In my opinion, this is what today boiled down to. Today boiled down to hurry up and wait. We think that Apple and Amazon and Meta earnings are very important, and that's why we close with essentially daily inside bars. SPY broke by, that would be 15 cents to the bull side. QQQ stayed inside. Either way, I think it was a hurry up and wait moment. And just to remind you, we have non-farm payrolls tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. and we have unemployment rate and average hourly earnings. So not only do we have Apple earnings pending, we have Amazon and Meta earnings that just came out, and then we have data tomorrow. So big week. It's been a very big week. I need to go back to my notes and make sure I've covered everything. SMH was so important to today. Amazon started out strong this morning and then really fizzled, and then just kind of went sideways, kind of lethargic the rest of the day, able to get through the prior day's the prior day's high just barely. But overall, I would say it was a good performance. And what can you say now? There's earnings and they're doing great. Apple held up decently today. And just to remind you, Apple's been beat up a lot more than most. The daily 200 MA is around a 182.11. On an initial move down, I would be looking to buy that compared to 180.30 if I were looking for an earnings trade or an Apple long. Oil crash, we talked about that. Zim got hit on that ceasefire news because Zim's value has been going up because of the turmoil in the Red Seas with the Houthis. And if I'm saying that incorrectly, my apologies to the Houthis. but this looks like an hourly bear flag. And basically, the scarcity of the ships and shipping being so valuable now, because those that are willing to go through these canals and these channels are very brave, and they've been getting good value and higher demand because there's fewer ships willing to take on these pirates. So it hit them pretty hard today, and we closed with an hourly bear flag, just something to point out. Okay, Microsoft. To me, this looks like a big, let's see if it looks better on the 2 hour. It may be just the hourly. Yeah, let's just look at the hourly. Potential inverse head and shoulders on Microsoft. We were able here. We held the low of yesterday, didn't come close. So Microsoft did not botch earnings. It just was a little bobble. So I think they're benefiting still from not botching earnings as bad as Google did. So Google is still down near the lows. This also could be an hourly inverse head and shoulders. We'll see. All right, we talked about those. Tesla still getting beat up. Daily RSI is still oversold. We have enough room for a higher low compared to 180.06. It doesn't mean we'll get it, but we have enough room, still oversold. This looks like an inverse head and shoulders to me on RSI. I don't trade those in a vacuum. I want price action to confirm. I won't trade a RSI pattern or bullish RSI pattern into itself. It has to have more data, but I am looking for a potential oversold continuation play on Tesla. And then let's look at marijuana. Okay, so marijuana had a beautiful day. We had CGC break $5. Daily uptrend continues. We still haven't confirmed a weekly uptrend, and we're still below the weekly EMAs. CMPS, this still has some continuation. It closed green, and considering how strong this has been, I would say this is super healthy consolidation at this point. MSOS had a huge break of monthly resistance, monthly higher high, monthly trend change. Congratulations, MSOS bulls. So beautiful day, closed strong. We're up in pre-market ever so slightly. So we're over that formidable $9.88 and $10 psychological resistance. So we're still waiting for the Schedule 3 news with marijuana. So if you're in the chat room, we'll be all over it if something were to break. OGI, Dan pointed this one out, I believe yesterday evening, and I like it better on the 2-week. He was saying this looks like CMPS weekly chart, and I agree. It has this inverse head and shoulders look. So Dan established a position in OGI today. I did as well. So the stop is below $1.55. The liquidity is not as great on this one, but you can see we had 50% more than average volume on OGI today. So it's having a wonderful day. Meta is having a baller move, an absolute baller move. Sorry for the antiquated language, but up 11%. Really, let me see what the expected move was real quick. I can look it up in toss. $23. Okay, we're double the implied move right now on Meta. Congratulations, Meta bulls. Amazon is up $5. That's a little less than implied move. And Apple hasn't reported yet. It must be 4:15. Either way, we're going to stick with our levels. The way this squeeze is happening on the 30-minute for Apple and on the hourly, and we're looking for a weekly higher low. From a technical perspective, I would say Apple's positioned well for a long. Let's see what Mr. Cook has to say. All right, that is it for the market recap for Thursday, February 1st. If you want to give me a follow on Twitter at CharkAlLori, that would be lovely. And thank you for being here. Let me cough while I exit. Bye.